Oh, man, I just got a new Blu-ray. I can't wait to watch it. But first, I got to take the plastic off here. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Oh, now I can wait. Oh, damn it. I can't open it yet. It's got one of those protective stickers on it. I got to peel that off real quick. Okay, now I can watch it. Damn it. There's another sticker along the freaking spine. Hold on. Okay, finally, now I can watch. Now I can find. What? Another freaking wrapper? Oh my God, hold on. There. Now I can finally watch The Wit and Wisdom of the Kardashians. What? There's no disc in here. Oh, I get it. It's time once again for the great unwrapping on this episode of Attack of the Killer Podcast.
Attention Planet Earth and beyond. Stay tuned for Attack of the Killer Podcast. 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 Yay.
Hey everybody, I am the greatest prop comic in podcasting, Insane Mike, and I am your host here of Attack of the Killer Podcast. This is episode 218, and it's one of our favorite topics where we each get to pick a movie from our collection that we have never bothered to open or even watched. That is until now. That's right. It is Unwrapping Part 3 here on Attack of the Killer Podcast. And one of the reasons why I think we like this topic is, because it gives us more of a variety. See, Attack of the Killer Podcast is a horror movie podcast where, we're a group of friends. We get together and we talk about movies that we pick from a particular topic. And so usually the movies have a common theme that relate to that topic. But in this case, with the unwrapping episodes, it's mayhem and chaos. It's cats and dogs living together. So it's pretty random. But since, we're going to talk about these movies in depth, there's probably going to be spoilers. So if you have this movie still sitting on your shelf and you haven't unwrapped it yet, maybe you should watch it before going forth. If you like the show and want to be one of us, you can become an attacker. Being an attacker gets you the opportunity to get a lot more Attack of the Killer podcast in your life. If you go to jointheattackers.com, you choose at what level of attacker you want to be. Depending on what you choose, you can get an official attacker's certificate, membership card. You can also get like bonus episodes, special videos, exclusive video series like Killer Critiques and Insane Mike's 1 minute top 10 lists. You can also get a personalized Mikey's Monster. It's a new perk where I draw you as a monster of my design. There's also shout outs that you can get on future episodes. All kinds of stuff, all the way up to getting your very own Attack of the Killer podcast t-shirt. So go to jointheattackers.com, choose the level of attacker you want to be. That's jointheattackers.com. And now it is time to introduce you all to the podcast crew. He likes long walks on the beach, nude sunbathing, and his favorite movie is Clantergeist. Andrew, everybody.
Oh shit. Hey, how you guys doing? Hope you're having a good goddamn day.
He is in only 27 different fantasy football leagues. Jason.
Not that many, but quite a few. What's up, everybody? Hey, real quick, we're doing a contest all summer long. Go to contest.aotkp.com and get signed up, and you can win some stuff. It's pretty cool. Anyway, thanks for listening to this episode.
He is the one who is the biggest fan of my puns, so he would be a tad disappointed if I didn't include one in his intro. Tad, everybody!
Thanks for listening. This is me signing off. Good night.
And lastly, our very special guest, Welcoming back to the show, the host of Customers Also Watched and the upcoming Unsung Horrors, premiering October 1st, right on the PFPN. Erica, everyone!
Hey guys, thanks for having me back.
So, Erica, why don't you, tell the listeners out there a little bit about yourself, what you do, what you got going on?
Yeah, so my current podcast, Customers Also Watch, that is a podcast about movies streaming for free on Amazon Prime, where I just strictly follow that Customers Also Watch list in an unbroken trail. Jason and Mike have both been guests before, and actually Tad will be on an episode coming up soon too. We just recorded the other day. So Andy, I got to get you on there too. So.
Oh, well, thank you.
And then the other podcast is called Unsung Horrors. Like you mentioned, my friend Lance and I are launching that, and coming October 1st. Actually, that should be very, very, very soon. And then in conjunction with that, we're also doing a movie challenge during the month of October because, everyone always watches a bunch of horror movies during that time. So what we put together was, it's called the Horror Gives Back Charity Challenge. It's a different category for every day of the month of October. And the reason that it's called the Horror Gives Back Challenge is that we're encouraging participants to donate a chosen amount per horror movie that they watch in October to charity. So my co-host Lance and I are both doing the challenge in October. Then we'll be making our donations to charity on November 1st. We've got our categories list pinned on our Twitter page and posted on Instagram. If you want to, you can check it out if you're looking for ideas. We do know that some people already have their own lists or might be following other people's lists for that month. But those people, you can still enter the contest because the point of it is to just donate X amount per movie that you watch in October to charity. So all the details that you need about how it works, how to enter, those are all posted on our Twitter and Instagram pages. We've got some really great prizes, including the out-of-print book, The Cosmic Wisdom of Joe Bob Briggs, some other books and movies, some artwork by Cody Scheibe, who does a lot of work with during like the last drive-in and stuff on Shudder. And also an Army of Darkness, Ash versus Pit Witch, McFarlane Toys exclusive that's still in the box from 2001. So a lot of great prizes, and we really hope a lot of people can watch movies for a great cause in October.
That's awesome.
That is very awesome. Very cool. And sounds like a lot of fun. But I don't want you to sell yourself short. I mean, that's not the only charity work that you do, because your show has been really helpful to me. It's been healing in the fact that with Customers Also Watch, I love the structure of the show so much, but I suffer from scrolling-itis.
Mm-hmm.
Where I just go down the prime rabbit hole for hours. But when I start to do that, I think of your show and I'm like, nope, I'm going to click on what Customers Also Watched and pick from there. And I don't back down and I just do it. So I thank you.
Well, I'm glad I could help.
Not a problem. And also thank you so much for being on the show again.
Yeah, of course.
Great having you back. So a quick shout out now to our sponsor, Shudder. Shudder, the Netflix for horror. And they have just gotten a whole lot cooler, folks. I'm telling you, I'm so excited that they have added the Adam Green sitcom Holliston to their lineup. If you haven't never heard of Holliston, please check it out. It's a sitcom, I feel, that was like made for horror fans, and it's about horror fans. It stars Adam Green and Joe Lynch, and there are a couple of aspiring horror film directors. And the show is so funny, and it's meta, and it's just so jam-packed of horror movie references, horror movie celebrities popping up all the time. It is a fun show. It was it is the perfect show. It was originally on FearNet, but got canceled when the network completely shut down. And that was before they could ever do their third season. And so now that it's found its home on Shudder, I'm hoping that the first two seasons are so popular on Shudder that they'll finally be able to make that third season. So you can check out Holliston and all the great horror shows, movies, and so much more by subscribing to Shudder. Now, you can get the first month for free on us here at Attack of the Killer Podcast. You're welcome. If you enter our promo code AOTKP, you will get that first month for free. Again, that promo code is AOTKP. And trust me, Shudder is awesome. We here at Attack of the Killer Podcast use Shudder a lot for the films that we watch on the show. Speaking of what we watched, here's Tad with what we watched.
All right, let's get right into it. Andy, what have you watched?
Okay. I'll start off with a 80s film called Out of Control, and it's about these group of teenagers who, after prom, who are apparently very rich, they book a private hydroplane to go to an island, but instead they crash on a different one and have to survive. But they realize that it's not really quite like Gilligan's Island. They have to fight off, drug smugglers and all this and that. It's got Betsy Russell and actually the very first film debut of Sherilyn Fenn. And it's not that good, but it's not super bad either. But I can say that I've seen it. It's also got that asshole from Footloose in it that's always wanting to start fights. Not Chris Penn, but like Laurie Singer's boyfriend. I think his name, Jim Youngs is his name. Just an interesting 80s movie. Next up, we have a Jim Wynorski movie, which, a lot of guys on it. Yeah, we dig that. But I had never seen this and always wanted to. It's Tracy Lords in Not of This Earth.
Oh, weird. That's great.
Yeah, weird movie. Odd space vampire. I mean, that's basically all I can really say about it. And this was like sorry, go ahead.
You noticed, right, that 75% of the movie is stolen footage from other Roger Corman movies?
Yes, I believe the first part of it was when Humanoids from the Deep, the birth at the ending. Yeah. It was actually, and I was like, man, I've seen that before.
There's a lot of footage from other movies in that film. That's what makes it so amazing.
And yeah, a lot of the deliveries from like the head baddie are like just so deadpan. And interesting side note, this was the first time that Tracy Lords ever got legally nude, if you know her backstory.
Backstory.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's basically, yeah, she was like, 15, 16 years old when she first started making porn because she had like a fake ID and it just caused this big uproar and all this and that. But 18 years old in this movie. Next up, I watched a movie called, and I saw this when I was maybe 8 and I hadn't seen it since then, but I was able to pick it up. These are all VHS, by the way, Tad. I know you love it. It's a movie called The Kiss. And it's with Joanna Pacula and Meredith Sanglinger. Am I saying that right?
Nailed it.
Yeah, it's the gal from the Dream a Little Dream movies. Just got married to Patton Oswalt. But anyway, it has to do with like this aunt and this niece relationship and how a curse is passed on through this kiss. She has to kiss her in order to, because basically the aunt is dead, her body is dead, and the only thing that makes her corpse look animated is the curse that's actually living within her. I mean, she can't be hurt, she can't be, she like falls like through pane glass windows, nothing happens. The curse has to come out of her at a certain point and it has to be passed on. Weird little interesting movie from the 80s. It's not bad, and it's kind of the same way I feel about Out of Control. It's not bad, but it's not especially good. But it's worth a watch. Next up, I have the very strange shot on video VHS that I picked up called Dead Mate. Have you guys ever heard of this?
Nope.
And I was going
Is
to say,
this is it also known as like grave vinegar syndrome? Put it out as grave something.
I think it might have an alternate title. I'm not sure. Hold on, give me 2 seconds.
Well, it's got necrophilia in it, right?
Yes, it does.
Okay, then yeah, we're thinking. I think it's like grave robbers or something like that. Is the alternate title?
Of course, Erica's seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and basically, this mortuary guy, he Undertaker, whatever you want to call him, he shows up at like this diner and he like instantly proposes to this girl, but it turns out he's trying to find like this mate, and like he runs this mortuary. As far as I can tell, he purposely kills people for like sort of like a Jeffrey Dahmer dead sex slave ring that he's got going on. It's a really odd movie. And I don't think I've ever seen acting more atrocious in this. The acting is, this girl. I mean, she's pretty enough to be a lead. Not that beauty is like really matters, but like, wow, her acting is just, oh Christ, it's awful. But yeah, it's very, very different. Very different. It's dead sex slaves, if you're into that sort of thing. The last one well, not quite the last one. I've got a few more things I want to talk about, but the last physical form of media that I watched a ninja movie called Pray for Death with Sho Kosugi from the 1980s. Have you guys ever heard of this?
I've seen it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a ninja revenge movie, and it's typical of the it's very close. It's similar in tone to the canon ninja movies that they put out in the 80s, where basically Sho Kosugi is just scowling at everything, like he's really pissed off at it. Like he'll look at an orange like it just murdered his whole fucking family. And basically that's basically what this is. He's out for revenge for the guy that killed his wife, this mobster. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's an 80s revenge action flick. Lots of sword play, very cheesy, which means I like it. But yeah, it's not bad. It's fun. I also watched a documentary that I highly, highly recommend from 2019, and it's on Prime. It's called Life After Flash. Have you guys ever seen this?
Nope.
No.
That's the Flash Gordon doc, right?
Yes, Sam Jones, and it's very informative about how Sam Jones's life was before Flash, and then how it was after Flash. His clashes with Dino De Laurentiis. And like the guy who played Voltan, the hawk guy, Brian Blessed, he is still hilarious to this day, because he's like this trained British actor, and he was talking about like trouble on the set that they were having there, because Dino De Laurentiis would come there because he was producing the movie, and he was making everybody nervous until he finally just he got enough gumption to just walk up to Dino De Laurentiis and kind of like it in his Voltan voice. He's like, Dino, you must fuck off. We cannot get anything done. You must fuck off. Hilarious to watch him say that, because he's like a very, proper English gentleman. And he kind of comes, looks into the camera and says, can I say F? He's like, yeah, say whatever you want. He's like, I told Dino, you must fuck off. We cannot get anything done. You're making everyone, great stuff. But yeah, you will find out stuff about Sam Jones that is very, very heartbreaking, about growing up and the loss of his brother. And also for like, people who collect, and all, I'm pretty sure all of us do. I don't know if I can speak for Erica or not, but the movie props that these guys have collected, and between the artwork and you know, the Hawkman blasters. All these guys have got it. Everybody's got, like, you know, the pinball machine that I absolutely love and would totally want to have someday. And they also interview Brian May, you know, about the, you know, because everybody knows that theme, you know, Flash. Yeah, really good stuff. I highly recommend that. And also and I'm almost done. Sorry. I also have watched the first 4 episodes of the second season of The Boys, which is like my favorite TV show going right now. And I highly, highly recommend that because there's a no better villain on TV right now, in my opinion, than the Homelander, hands down. You're not going to convince me of anything else. Definitely watch The Boys on Amazon Prime. And that's all I got.
Okay, let's keep the long streak going. Jason, what did you watch?
Hey, I got a few. Let's see. The other day we had a watch party. I watched April Fool's Day.
Me too.
It was a lot of fun. Yep, you were there, and you were there, and you were there.
I was
there.
It
fooled.
was good. I really liked it, and now that, you know, maybe relating to our bonus episode, because it's fun to reference those. But when I watched it, I'm like, man, maybe I didn't see that growing up. Felt awfully new, but it was great. I liked it a lot. Then I also watched Charlie Kaufman's new movie, I'm Thinking of Ending Things.
Me too.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it a little bit. And I was going to be like, well, and since I'm so smart, I don't want to spoil anything, I can't tell you what it's about, really. So, but I don't know if I could tell you what it's about anyway.
I couldn't spoil it if I wanted to.
Right.
2 philosophy majors argue for 2 hours on a car ride. Okay.
But I'll tell you what, man, I fucking loved it. I know I'm the boy who cried awesome, but I sure did love it. There's a lot to unpack. There's very existential and very artsy, and I'm looking on Letterboxd now, and the first review says too dumb to understand this. And sure, I feel that way sometimes, but this one pushes it. I enjoyed it. I hope to watch it some more to help figure it out. It's one of them kind of figure it out movies. I think that's on Netflix.
Yes.
Then Tina and I watched all these, but watched Relic from 2020.
I've heard good things. What do you think?
Emily Mortimer. Guess what? I liked it. It was awesome. It was just a kind of a weird ass movie for a while, but then the ending goes to like a fucked up place that's weird and it holds on it for like the whole third act, and it's like, damn, this is weird, in a not too unfamiliar way, or a very similar way to God damn it, the Scarlett Johansson movie with the black tardness with the score. What's that?
Under the Skin.
Under the Skin. There's kind of a under the skin kind of thing into it that's just, you're just like, what? But it's pretty cool. I totally recommend watching that. Then we watched Palm Springs again. Great. It's amazing. Can't get enough Andy Samberg. It's amazing.
Andy Samberg rules.
Yep. And then we watched Random Acts of Violence. Finally caught that. Jay Baruchel's movie.
Yeah.
I guess you liked it.
I did. It was great. I did. I really liked it. Surprise, I know. And then on HBO, this might be a shock, but I like sports and sports movies. But there's this new Ben Affleck movie they put out called The Way Back, and it's pretty great. I know, shocker. I know you're going to run out to see that. But one thing, I know, I guess you're most of your fans, but I know Mike's a big fan. But I watched, I think it was on Prime, this documentary called Magnum Opus, the making of Jay and Silent Bob reboot.
Oh, okay, cool.
So yeah, there's a documentary they made where they followed him around, and it's all about the reboot. And it's fucking awesome, Mike. You gotta watch this. I mean, sure, and like,
I would probably like the doc probably better than the.
and it
actual
will
movie.
help you like the movie too.
It's a companion
I-
piece to the 12-part podcast he recorded that goes along with it as well.
That
Oh
too.
my!
But
Jeez.
I'm just joking, but it's probably true.
Okay.
gosh, you guys are mean.
It
But,
is on. It is on Prime. I have their catalog memorized. So
I bet you do. It's wonderful though. It's so great, and it's just all. I don't know. He
long as
spends
it's not
time with
tough.
all the gangs, with all the guys from the gang that
Yeah.
you love. And I'm spent an hour and a half crying. It's just it's really good and touching. I mean, with him and then the heart attack and everything, and getting to make a movie again, and how great that was. And okay, I got one more, you punk asses. I watched just because I'm his biggest fan of all time, and I hadn't seen this one. Also, came across it on Prime. Just another talkie movie of Henry Rollins called "Keep Talking, Pal."
Ooh, cool.
So just another hour, kind of him doing his talking show, which I've seen him live at least a couple times, and it's
Me too.
I love
Interesting
that dude
guy,
a lot.
Henry, man.
Mhm.
He just
You put him and Kevin Smith in a room and you have a fucking 40-hour podcast.
that's probably true. But I just connect with Henry to the deepest. So it's great. I love him, and just double checking. Yes, that's everything I watched.
I have a very quick Henry Rollins story. One time I went with a friend and saw him live, and then we waited outside and talked to him for quite a while. And
Mhm.
I went up to him and I was like, yeah, I saw your show in Chicago last year. It was really good. That's all I really said. And he went on this like long rant about how he traveled, and he's telling me all about the places he ate and all the people he met and all this stuff, and was like so nice and got my picture stuff. And then my friend Kenny went up to him right after and it was like, I grew up and went to like a Catholic school in a small town with like closed-minded people, and you really opened my mind and you changed my life, and your music and your talking, like everything, you've just really, I'm a huge fan. You've changed my life for the better, and you've really opened my eyes and stuff. And Henry was like, cool, man. Do you want a picture?
Oh no!
And on the
no.
drive home, he was like so upset. He was like, dude, like you talked to him for a half hour. I spilled my guts, and he was like, all right, dude, want a picture?
Oh, poor guy.
I was
Did you
like,
guys-
he was talking to all of us when he responded to my question. I felt like so,
Yeah.
but he took it really hard. But to be fair, he slept through half the show, so
Oh fuck you!
Oh well, then yeah.
not that he could see, Henry could see it because we were like towards the back. But yeah. Anyways,
Did you guys ever see? Sorry to interrupt, but have you guys ever seen He Never Died?
So good.
Love that movie. Oh
Yeah, it was.
Love
We were able to see it at Daniel and I were able to see it at a film festival. Its
Awesome.
premiere. We really enjoyed it. So recommend that one too.
definitely.
yeah. I guess I'll just jump over to you, Erica. What kind of fucked up shit have you seen lately?
I made my list ahead of time, and I was like, all right, I'm not going to recommend like the rape revenge on the beach movie again. I'm going to like keep it tame. But I do have a rape movie in my list, so just putting it out there. I watched Body Double because it was just Brian De Palma's birthday, and it's been on my shelf, and I'd never seen it before, and it was
Sweet.
Good one.
it was great.
Yeah.
Real good one.
I watched probably what will end up being one of the worst movies that I watched this year, and that was Robert Reborn. And I did it to myself because it's just this dumb killer doll movie, and apparently there's 5 of them. And
Whoa.
I had watched a Luis Buñuel movie that was a massive, massive gut punch called The Young and the Damned. And I was like, I need a palate cleanser. I need something dumb to just whatever. And I put it on, and it's not just dumb. It's like brain cell killing dumb. So that was bad. I don't recommend it. It's on Tubi, I think. But I won't be telling people, don't watch it. It's terrible. But for the most part, I've been on a TV movie kick, and I've dragged John along with me for this. Amanda Reyes put out this book a few years ago called Are You Alone in the House? It's a TV movie compendium. And then she also has an accompanying podcast now called Made for TV Movie Mayhem. And so there's all of these are on YouTube, like all of the 70s movies from 70s TV movies. So stuff like Isn't It Shocking? Nightmare in Badham County, A Cry for Help, The Old Man Who Cried Wolf, The Rape of Richard Beck. And they all have faces that you recognize, like Alan Arkin is in one, Edward G. Robinson, like all these like really renowned actors. And it's just neat to see them in these like TV movies that it's nice because they're kind of like little horror movies with kids gloves on. So I've been having a lot of fun watching TV movies.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We did Bad Ronald one time. I know that.
Yeah, that's a good one. I saw that at a Terror Tuesday here at Alamo a couple years ago, I think.
That'd be fun to watch with a crowd.
Yeah.
So did you watch anything else? I didn't want to cut you off.
Like 5,000 other things. What's your number?
I'm
up
at
to?
like 674
Oh
for the
my
year,
God.
so I'm gonna.
Good God.
I won't go into all of them.
Okay, well, I guess that leads us to the birthday boy himself, Mike. What have you watched?
I actually have a list myself here. I'll start off and get the non-horror stuff out of the way. Had a pretty sweet day, Labor Day, spending it with Brandy and Simon. We watched a couple movies together. We watched Pixels because, again, the cat's out of the bag. I like Happy Madison movies, but that one in particular is fun. Although I hate myself for I feel like I ruined part of the magic for my 12-year-old son by verbally nitpicking the plot holes of the movie because they are giant. You can drive a truck through the plot holes of Pixels. So I feel bad about that, but it was all redeemed when we watched, and this is the second time I've watched it now, Bill and Ted's Face the Music.
Yeah.
So
Oh my
good.
God, I love it so much.
I need to see it. I really need to see it.
And it's the best out of the three for the simple fact that Weird Al shows up in the ending credits. So just throwing that out there.
That's the reason it's good.
That's the reason any movie's good.
Oh.
So then in horror, I'll start with shows. Finally finished up Stand Against Evil. That was great. And it's one of those that canceled before they finished everything, but they did finish the third season at where you could say it's an actual ending, but it's not an ending I'm happy about. I won't spoil. And then we, Brandy and I marathoned finally got to watch the Creep Show series on Shudder.
Nice.
And that was a lot of fun. That's really good. I, can't wait for another season of that. I like a lot of the homages stylistically to the original film, some of the cool lighting and all the comic book panels and stuff like that. Although I was starting to notice like a lot of like little hidden gems for horror fans throughout this series. And it got to the point where I think I actually may have started making some up. In the episode with the girl that has the dollhouse, in that dollhouse, there's a rug carpet underneath the dining room table that is the Overlook Hotel carpet.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also the crate is from the first Creep Show is seen in the dollhouse as well. The coolest one is the one where DJ Qualls finds the monster figure and then it grows in his freezer into a full monster again. In the deep freeze, and Brandy saw it first, and we had to rewatch it 3 times before I could see it because it's frosted over. But there is a stuff container in the deep freeze. And I'm like, that is an awesome deep cut right there. Because again, I had to watch it 3 times before I could even see it. So then I think I was starting to make stuff up in my head. It was like the episode where the businesswoman kills her assistant lady and then drags her into the elevator, and she gets stuck in the elevator. In the opening of that, it shows her diploma where she graduated from Carnegie Mellon, which is also the college that George Romero went to. So I'm calling it a tribute to George. I guess time will tell. So that show was a lot of fun. I also watched. I'm so happy you brought this one up last time, Dad, because I rushed right out to see it based on the premise. But Uncle Peckerhead, that was funny as hell. It was great. I really, really enjoyed it a lot. So funny. The 3 band members are just hilarious, and the guy playing Peckerhead is so charming, endearing, as rednecky guy, but it was just great. The only thing I was kind of bummed about the ending, because the ending ends on such a kind of a downer. But it was definitely worth a watch. You got to check it out, and I think Jason, you would appreciate it too, because I feel like
I would like this movie.
Yeah, for the simple fact of I feel like they really got a good grasp on the indie rock touring scene. Yeah, I think you would really appreciate it for that. And I think would be a great time for you to watch it now, since you haven't been able to tour.
I'll miss it. I'll be more sad.
Probably.
You'll relate to it though. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. And then I also watched Becky.
Yay!
That was awesome. Holy crap, that was awesome.
Paul Blart, Nazi.
Yeah. Yeah, Paul Blart, Nazi cop. Yeah. That was such a great movie. Oh, that girl is amazing. She did an amazing job, and it was just a thrill watching this revenge movie where it's a little girl getting revenge on these like grown-up Nazi adults. So cool. Some cool gore in it. I really appreciated the gore. Yeah, I would definitely highly recommend that one. And it was cool seeing Kevin James doing something really serious. So, I also watched, this just came up on Netflix not too long ago. #Alive. It's a new Asian zombie movie about this like teenage boy who's trapped in his apartment while the zombie outbreak is taking over.
Yeah.
And that's a really good one too. I had a lot of fun with that one. And I like that stuff where, just people are trapped in a small single location with a minimal cast and everything. It really reminded me a lot of
Life Right Now.
Well, yeah, there's that. No, the movie from, what was it, last year, 2 years ago? The Night Eats, or wait, what is it called? The Night Eats the Day, Eats the World.
Something like that.
Something like that.
It's the world, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Which I love that movie too. Same thing. But this one has more of the like Train to Busan type of zombies, where they're like super ravenous and they don't care if they're tripping over each other to get to you. That kind of stuff. So that was a really, really good flick. That just came up on Netflix. And then really the last thing I saw is we also recently rewatched Land of the Dead, which is the first time I've seen in years, and I still love it. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay, so I guess that just leaves me. Somebody asked me what I've watched.
Dad, what have you watched?
Well, I will skip. Well, I guess I'll just name some of the stuff that I watched that you either also watched or we watched together, like April Fool's Day. I was fooled. I had not seen that before. That was a blast. Good one for a group watch. I rewatched Parasite so Nikki could see it, and still just as good. I watched I'm Thinking of Ending Things. I have no idea what the fuck I watched. I followed that with like The Best Chaser, which was Pain and Gain, the Michael Bay movie starring The Rock and Mark Wahlberg.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was like the perfect palate cleanser, because that movie requires no thought, and I completely got it. And then I followed that with a second viewing of Bill and Ted Face the Music. Fantastic again. Then I watched a movie for Erica's podcast, and I have a hard time saying the title because it has a K following a P. So I guess it's Top Copy. Is that correct, Erica?
I think it's either Top Copy or Top Copy. I don't know.
Top Copy. Okay. I know I butchered it the one time I had to say it on your show. So I was like consciously trying to get around saying the title on your show, and I think I said it once, and I like mumbled. I was like, "Yeah," and the back of the back. Anyways, and then I saw Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2 at the drive-in on Saturday night. That was a blast.
So cool.
Yeah, the great double feature. Sort of, I don't know. It's like while I'm watching Evil Dead, I love it. I sort of was like, let's just get to Evil Dead 2 because we're going to see all this stuff again, but shot better. And then probably the highlight of what I've watched is the new Netflix original sequel to The Babysitter Killer Queen. Really, really good. Tons of fun. If you like the first one, you'll love this one. It's just the same, but more. And they brought back, everybody that they could. I won't spoil anything, but it basically picks up right a couple of years after the first, and no one believes the kid that the events actually happened. So, he's living with this weird, everybody thinks he's nuts because he's talking about all these demons that tried to kill him, and no one believes him at all. So they all just think he's like, has a mental illness, but that's all I'll say about it. And that's all I watch.
All right. Thanks, Tad, for what we watched. Appreciate it. I just got to say, folks, your vote does matter, at least here on Attack of the Killer podcast, because here's Jason with Pole Position.
From now on, like your parents were, you are the secret force of Pole Position.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you, Mike. We're going to do some pole position time. I guess the question for today is what's our most anticipated DVD or Blu-ray release upcoming? I know, pretty exciting, right? Woo! So, since we're talking about unwrapping, we're going to talk about movies we're excited to unwrap in the future. So, Mike, you're first.
All right. Well, I'm going with probably the most obvious, especially if you know me, the Friday the 13th box set. I'm really stoked because it's in the hands of Scream Factory, so it's going to be good. It's going to have a ton of amazing stuff with it. And more importantly, I'm just kind of glad that it's out of the hands of Paramount as far as this release goes. Because how many times have Paramount has released these films and it's just not enough. I feel like this is going to be what us fans are really, really want from this series. So that's mine, is the Friday 13th box set.
All right, cool. I will go next. I'm pretty stoked for it's more Scream Factory, but there's this new Motel Hell limited edition steelbook. You can also, it's got a new 4K transfer, some new audio, some new trailers and spots, and some really awesome artwork. So I'm super stoked for that. Tad, you're next. Which one are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Friday the 13th as well, but since Mike said that one before me, and it's his birthday, so I'll let him. I struggled to find something that I'm actually excited for. So I guess I'm going with Terror in the Aisles, just because I think that's such a unique release, and I'm surprised they are doing a standalone. And I'm really curious to see what the hell they do with special features for that one. Because
that would be interesting. Yeah.
That was I have it as a special feature on the Universal Halloween 2 Blu-ray. So I really am curious to see how in the hell they pull off a collector's edition or special edition of this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love that. I saw that way back in the day when it would show like on Showtime or something. And a lot of my introduction to the majority of the films in that was through that film Terror in the Aisles, and I even have it on video disc.
And who doesn't love Donald Pleasance? So yeah,
that's right, and Nancy Allen.
And Donald
All right.
Pleasance.
Andy, what are you looking forward to?
Well, guys, if you would have asked me this a week ago, I definitely would have said Friday the 13th. Hands down, I think the only thing that could make that better was like probably some like Harry Manfredini vinyl or like a newly remastered 45 of The Man Behind the Mask by Alice Cooper. But I got to go with it's another Shout Factory release, though. I think it's coming in December. I've already pre-ordered it because I'm a giant nerd. This is the 4K release of They Live with the new John Carpenter bubblegum pink vinyl of the theme, and another track that wasn't used within the film. I think it's called Walls or something. I can't quite remember, but it also comes with a Keith David Frank figure. So yeah, I might have to build a diorama of him and the Nada figure of them beating the shit out of each other in an alley or something. But yeah, totally stoked for that because the Frank figure really sold it for me. Yeah, definitely. They Live 4K. Look forward to it.
Super cool. So
their first 4K disc
ooh.
for Scream Factory.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
And you'll be able to fit that in your VCR. I'm really excited.
he's the only one that has he's the only one in the core group that has a 4K player.
It's so fucked up.
That's true.
He'd be the last guy. I would have lost money on that.
Probably collects a lot of dust, but
I use it quite a bit.
And so yeah, since Twitter only lets us use four spots for the poll, sadly that's why we can't include Erica, but it'd be fun to put her on the spot and make her maybe say what her choice would be, since she loves all the new movies.
I know.
Is there any release you're looking forward to coming out on physical format?
Yeah. There's plenty of stuff. I've got a bunch of stuff pre-ordered right now. I guess the one I'm looking forward to most is the Second Sight 4K release of Dawn of the Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful purple and green box, and it's gonna be a glorious thing. So yeah, I would say the Dawn of the Dead.
Did I hear that got pushed back?
Yeah, it got pushed back. I think at least a month. It was supposed to come out the end of October. I think it's slated for November now.
So I still have time to sell off my Blu-ray.
Wasn't part of my interruption, but wasn't a Event Horizons Scream Factory release pushed back a little bit too?
Oh,
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I pre-ordered that too because they found like all this, deleted footage that they were going to put back into the film. So.
So yeah, with Pole Position, get your butts over to Twitter. If you don't follow us on Twitter, you should be. It's at AOTKP. As soon as this episode comes out, the next day or even later that day, this poll will be up. So get over there and vote for who you agree with. What movie are you looking forward to the most coming out? That's Pole Position.
And now, recorded live in front of a dead studio audience, it's Insane's Game's newest game, Newly Dead Game. It's time for the Newly Dead Game. So these are going to be questions I'm going to ask. Each of you can give your answer, and you will get a point for the right answer. So hopefully I'll try to mix this up because I feel like it may be a little unfair to go last because, maybe by then somebody would actually say the right answer and you'd be like, oh, yeah, that is it. And then you'll just agree with that. So here we go. And since this is the Newly Dead Game, all of these questions involve zombies. That's right, zombies. So here we go. First question. What movie was a zombie brought to life using telekinesis? Andy.
I'm going to have to say, technically, since he is dead and he is a zombie, I'm going to have to say it's Jason Voorhees in The New Blood.
Jason,
That was my first thought too. Jason Voorhees.
Tad,
Person.
Yep, that's what I had in mind.
Erica.
Sure.
You guys are correct. Friday the 13th, Part 7,
Booyah.
The New Blood.
I win. Oh, there's more than
You're
one.
kind of
question.
all one.
Okay.
Okay, next. What movie was a zombie brought to life? Wait, no, I already read that one. Next.
I know the answer.
Is this a
What?
trick question?
Yes. What is the name of the chemical that brought the dead to life in Return of the Living Dead? Let's start with Tad.
Trioxin.
I need the full name, please.
That's all I know.
Okay. Jason.
Yeah, see, I thought trioxin too, but I'm like, damn it, I think there's letters and numbers and shit that he's gonna be all stickler about. So I sadly don't remember them either. All I had was trioxin.
Andy.
2,4,5 trioxin by the UNITA Medical Company. Well, technically the Army, but it's at the UNITA Medical Company.
Erica.
I can only remember Trioxin 5.
So that sounds cool too.
So Andy was correct. It is 2,4,5 trioxin. Good job, Andy. Next question. What movie slowly turned Samantha into a zombie through a sexually transmitted disease? Erica?
Ooh. Pass. I don't know.
All right. Jason.
I got nothing.
Fair enough. Andy?
Well, the only thing that comes to mind is when that pastor is humping that nurse in Dead Alive. So I'm going to say Dead Alive.
And Tad.
If Erica doesn't know STD zombies, I don't want to know either.
The answer is contracted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That movie's
I've
cool.
not even heard of this movie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, me. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
There's two of them for crying out loud.
I'm
not
not
bad.
alone.
Okay, so this zombie outbreak started by drinking contaminated moonshine. Jason? Are you there?
Yeah, he's here. His brain is not.
So you're in the same room. I would hope you would know if he's there.
Right. You were looking at me. when
Here,
you
but
asked that.
he's here, but he's
I
not
meant-
all there.
Exactly.
That's what I'm trying to say. Gosh dang it, pass.
All right, Andy.
I'm going to say Redneck Zombies by Troma.
Erica?
Oh, I'm going to piggyback on that answer, even though I've never seen it.
Yep,
But
me
it
too.
sounds correct.
Me too.
You're too late,
Oh,
Jason.
but I wrote down redneck zombies.
Uh-huh. And Tad.
Jugface?
Mhm.
The correct answer is, in fact, redneck zombies.
Ah. Have you seen Jugface, Tad?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't remember if
I did not like it at all. I had a hard time with that one.
Oh.
There's a movie Jason doesn't
I
like.
know. That's why I thought I'd say it, just so you guys know that I do actually watch these movies and have other opinions. Go ahead. Sorry, Mike.
No problem. Uh-oh, it's speed round time.
Oh, crap.
Speed round time on the Newly Dead game. So for the speed round, you all have to go through just kind of like how we play the game where we
List
have an
all
actor and we just go
Speed.
down the line. You have to name you have to name a movie that actor's in until you
Run
can't, and then you're eliminated.
Yep.
Same thing, only you have to name Nazi zombie movies. Andy, you can go first. Each correct answer is a point.
Like Oasis of the Dead.
Very good. Excellent. Jason.
Red versus Dead. Red. What the fuck is the name of that goddamn movie?
Man.
It's right there. I love
real?
that movie. It's got what's his face in it. Jason Voorhees.
Next.
Son of a dick. I'm out already.
You got the more difficult part of the movie title.
I know
correct.
the what the
Tad, what's he looking for?
game?
Dead Snow. Red
Damn it,
versus
that's
Dead.
it.
Yeah.
Son of a whore. I said the name ish.
I said trioxin didn't count, so no, you don't get those points.
Yeah.
So move on. I'm out.
Jason's out. Erica.
Shockwaves.
Ah, shit
Yeah, the best one. Okay, back to Andy.
Oh man. Yeah, those are like the only ones I know. Werewolf Women of the SS. I don't know, dude. I don't know.
You went nuts.
All right,
Yeah.
Andy's out. Okay, Tad.
Just Dead Snow.
Damn you for cheating.
It counts. Erica.
Overlord.
Oh, shit, that movie rules.
I'm so disappointed in the rest of y'all. You
I
didn't get
hate
that
this
one.
game. It's stupid.
You're the one who wanted me
I
to
know.
do Insane's games.
I know. It's my
for the
idea, and I'm
show.
like the worst trivia guy ever.
So back to Tad.
Shit, man.
Showdown.
I'm afraid I am. Oh man, what we watched one on the podcast that had like it was like steampunk sorta found footage.
Oh,
Is Frankenstein's Army count?
Yep, that
Ah,
totally
dang
counts.
it.
You got it. You're still in. Erica.
I'm gonna get the title wrong. It's been thinking. I didn't even hear Tad's answer because I was trying to think of it the whole time.
He said Frankenstein's Army.
Okay. Oh God, is it Atomic Brain or Creature with the Atomic Brain?
I'm looking at my list.
It's not Atom Age Brain. Fuck. Atom Brain, Creature with Atom Brain, something like that.
You're correct.
Oh.
Creature with the Atom
Oh.
Brain.
Ah.
Nice.
If I've already thought of one, I think I remembered one, but I'm already out, right?
Yeah, you're out.
Oh,
Save it for the end.
Okay.
Back to Tad.
So what has been named so far?
Tad, say
Can you
Red
do
Snow
that?
3.
I should have been making notes. I think both Dead Snows, Creature with the Atomic Brain, Frankenstein's Army, Oasis of the Zombies, Shockwaves, and
There's that one I said.
that was
that was
it.
none.
I think that was it. Yeah.
I think did somebody already say Overlord?
Oh,
did.
yeah. I'm sorry. I missed Overlord.
So that's
Yep,
the one
Overlord.
that's the only one I could. The other one that I was thinking of, and I'm out. I don't know any beyond that.
All right. Erica, you want to try to squeeze in one last point?
If I make one up and it's right, does that count?
Sure.
It sounded like you did that with the last one.
Hey. Nazi zombies of the SS.
Oh, so close.
Damn it.
So that's it, man. That's awesome because what was your honorable mention there?
Was Zombie Lake one of them?
Zombie Lake would have been the last one. I would have.
Shit.
So yeah,
You put me on the spot. I can't.
Yeah.
Oh well.
but man, there was a lot more in this subgenre than I was aware of. So okay, so that was fun. So back to the regular questions, and we're just about done. So the next question: what 70s blaxploitation film brings zombies to life through voodoo to take down the mob boss Morgan? Erica, we'll start with you.
Is it Sugar Hill?
Tad?
I'm gonna go with that.
Jason?
Thank God I didn't get picked first. Oh, I'm pretty sure it's Sugar Hill, guys.
And Andy?
That's my vote.
Wow. I'll piggyback on that too. Sugar Hill.
That is correct. The answer is Sugar Hill. Everybody
Yep,
got points
we all
on that
knew it.
one.
Yep.
Goodness.
Thanks, Erica.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
vote
thank
first.
you.
You're welcome.
Okay, let's see. Let's wrap this up. So one last question, deciding which one I want to do here. We'll go with something a little more modern. What 2016 movie do people turn into zombies by a parasitic fungus transmitted by bodily fluids? Jason.
What all words did you just say?
Parasitic fungus transmitted by bodily fluids. And I'll just say bodily fluids is generally the most traditional way of transmitting the zombie virus, just so you're going to get your mind out of the gutter.
Oh.
Meaning like through bites and stuff.
2016. Dead Snow 3.
3. Okay, Andy.
Oh, damn it. I want to say like Cabin Fever 2. I don't know.
Erica?
The Walking Dead. I have no idea.
And Tad.
I'm going to go with Train to Busan.
The correct answer is The Girl with All the Gifts.
So good.
Oh.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
movie.
That's right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I almost said Collapse. Should have.
Your own movie.
Yeah.
So that I should have put that on there. That would've been
Right?
awesome.
Yeah, you dumbass.
Yeah.
So Tad loses a point for
Yep.
calling the host a dumbass. So the winner is Erica with 6 points.
Hey.
Congratulations.
Oh, wow.
Tad and Andy tied for second with 5, and we won't get into
Thank you.
Jason's
Moving
score.
on.
Anyway, moving on. Okay, so let's get into the topic at hand. The movies that have been sitting on our shelves, still in its plastic, that we bought for whatever reason, and we haven't watched. And that's why I like this episode, these type of
We get
episodes.
to check them off the list.
Finally
Yeah.
get to watch these movies. Really forces me to get down to it. And so because of that, I'm going to go first. The first movie we're going to talk about tonight is from 1971, The House That Dripped Blood.
This house is full of sounds. The loudest is your heart pounding in the night. The softest is the sound of terror.
Oh, Charles.
No, please.
In this house, terror waits for you in every room.
Where are they? You must search the house, but you must find that dog.
Vampires, voodoo, vixens, and victims. You'll find them all in the house that dripped blood.
The House That Dripped Blood is an anthology film from Amicus, where Scotland Yard investigator looks into 4 mysterious cases involving an unoccupied house. So 4 different stories in this one for an anthology, and really like the unique wraparound with this one. Sometimes a good anthology film can sell me alone if it has an interesting wraparound, something kind of catching like this, where multiple mysteries and deaths have happened in this weird house, and this cop is trying to figure it out. This movie I had never seen before, and it's interesting. Again, I don't know what is going on with this like weird 70s British film horror movie kick that I've been on lately. We need to come up with a topic that can stray me away from it for a little while. But I do remember back in the day just being drawn to the cover sitting on the shelf of the skeletal ghost lady or whatever with the platter, and was it Christopher Lee's head on the platter? It just always caught my attention at the video store back in the day, but for some reason just never pulled the trigger for whatever reason. But I'm finally glad I did get to watch it. I've got this one at a pawn shop, so I guess it really wasn't unwrapped, but I bought it and just stuck it on the shelf and never watched it. But apparently Walmart had put this out at one point on their shelves because there was some kind of like Walmart exclusive bonus something. So I think it was like a double package with something else, but it's just weird to think like, that one time you could have bought House That Dripped Blood at freaking Walmart. Weird. As far as the stories go, the first one is about this like novelist who writes these like crime thriller. Oh, I said the TH word. Damn it. these novels like about a strangler, and like the strangler seems to come alive. At some point, he keeps seeing the strangler and hearing noises and stuff. And then it's like and then the story becomes like a bag of pretzels because it's twist after twist after twist after that. So the next one is about basically two guys, horny over a wax figure in a wax museum. The third one's about this little girl. Oh, she's so cute, and her dad's a dick, and her dad's Christopher Lee, and blah 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 blah. But wait, witchcraft. And then the last one is about this like. The last one may be my favorite because I really feel like this was a inside joke of the whole movie. Because it's about this like arrogant horror actor who's done like 100 horror films and nothing is the set looks crappy and he's working on this new film and he's just so being a jerk to everybody. And like his costume's not good enough, so he goes out and buys his own cape because he's playing a vampire. But there's something about this cape, right? There's something about it. Why I like this one again, I feel like there's a lot of like little inside jokes here because there's one line that I literally chuckled out loud at, where he's talking about like they just don't make him like the classic Frankenstein and Dracula, like the original Dracula, not that one from the 60s with the British guy. And I'm like, oh, you are so making fun of Christopher Lee in a movie that has Christopher Lee in it. That is awesome. So for the most part, I enjoyed all of these. And like any anthology, there's always some that stand out more than the others. There's always kind of a weak one in the bunch. Probably the one for me was the one with the wax figure girl in it, even because it just kind of seemed like a House of Wax rehash kind of thing, but it did have Peter Cushing in it, so that was a plus. But yeah, as far as anthologies go, especially these Amicus ones, this one's really good. What do you guys think?
I'll be honest, I thought what I liked about this movie, and it was my first time watching it, I think this might have one of the strongest wraparounds I've ever seen in an anthology.
It's really cool, right?
It's fucking great. Like it just goes right in, and it's like it's really serious, and it's a great premise to initiate the anthology, and
there's so much story going on in that wraparound that makes it, and everything is so connected that it almost feels like not that you shouldn't be calling it an anthology film.
And they don't just come back to the same device exactly to bring it into the next story. It was my favorite part is just how strong that wraparound was.
I enjoyed it too. I particularly liked the bookends of the story. I liked the first story and the last story probably, the best. Delholm Elliott, who played the butler in Trading Places, it was good to see him in, something else, and earlier in his career.
Oh crap, that was him. Awesome, nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Also, I'm a big Ingrid Pitt fan anyway, between, like The Wicker Man and Countess Dracula and, The Vampire Lovers. And I always liked her. And, she's, I don't care how old she's dead now, but I wouldn't care how old she is now. She was very easy on the eyes. And an interesting tidbit about her, she was actually in a concentration camp as a child. So if anybody knows anything what a real fucking monster is, it's probably this lady. So, God bless her for that, and living through that. And I just dug it. I mean, it's the last story is a little, tongue in cheek. It gets a little cheesy towards the end, but I mean, if it's not taking itself, seriously, that's not too big of a deal with me. And actually, I thought the way this film was shot, I thought it was just pretty for its time, with the bridges and the landscapes and the water, and just I liked it. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, but I don't know if this would be one I would rewatch a lot. I felt it dragged in some spots for me. And maybe I'm just alone, but I felt, I don't know, I had a hard time paying attention at times, but that's probably just because I'm an idiot. I do think it's very pretty, and I love the performances, and just movies that are from this era. There's just this little pocket of these types of movies that are, it's like charming horror, if that makes sense. And
yeah.
I enjoyed it for that, but it's not exactly my wheelhouse, I would say.
This was a rewatch for me, but I haven't seen it in like 15 years, maybe. So, I mean, the way my brain works, it's kind of brand new. And I guess I'm a little bit different. I actually prefer the two middle segments as far as my favorite in the anthology. And I kind of think that because the wraparound story is so strong, that this might have been a little bit better with just 3 instead of 4 stories. But
I could see that, yeah.
But actually, John made me promise to point out that John Pertwee, the third Doctor, is in the 4th segment of this. So there. I'm looking at the timestamp now so I can tell him when it is so he can check that I did it for his reference for him. But no, I like this a lot. I'm also, I agree that the Peter Cushing segment is very reminiscent of House of Wax, but I love that movie so much that I
get more of it. Yeah.
I just love that setting. So if you throw wax figures in anything, I'm automatically in. And then I guess I do like the Christopher Lee one a lot too, because I was, rooting for the child to die, and of course I would be remiss if I came on the show and did not talk about child murder in movies. So.
To stay on brand.
You got to stay on brand. But I like this one a lot. It's not my favorite anthology horror movie. I think that goes to Asylum, and but I still enjoy it a lot.
I think we need to have you on the show if we ever do Who Could Kill a Child.
Yes. My top 4 on Letterboxd is all child murder movies, and that's one of them.
You did change that? Oh man.
I know who could kill a child, Erica.
That's right.
Oh yeah, and Andy, you had a really good point about the 4th one. I think it was probably tongue in cheek on purpose. I feel like this was the Geordie Verrill part of the movie where it's definitely, I feel like it's supposed to be played more for comedy, but it's still British, so that the comedy's kind of dry and you can maybe interpret it wrong. But yeah, but that's kind of what I liked about the 4th one. So cool. House that Dripped.
Yeah, damn you, Mike, for continuing to get me to enjoy these 70s fucking British
I know
things.
I know. I don't know what's going on. I seriously don't know what's going on.
I'm not really complaining.
I'm not freaking out because like, oh, I can't believe I'm watching these. It's more of like, it's so coincidental that I've been just watching these one after
it's a
another.
Kick that's not intentional.
Yeah. But I'm enjoying it so much.
There's something about just being shot on film in the 70s that just makes things pretty. Like I can watch
films
it.
in general.
The aesthetic.
Very soothing, and it's pretty.
Oh, yeah. I'll take that
I'm
over.
not complaining. Yeah.
I'll take that over anything today, any day. But
now.
Well, based on what you're saying.
Yes, it feels good to watch.
Yeah. So Jason, what's the next film we're going to talk about, huh?
Oh my gosh, the next movie is going to be, it's one of the newer ones, somewhat modern. It's from 2009. It's called Grace.
I'm going to see a midwife. There's a reason people have babies in hospitals.
We're just checking it out.
Anybody breaks out a power crystal, we're leaving.
Tia.
Keep the focus on you and your baby.
It's beautiful.
The less this place looks like a hospital, the better.
Michael! Maybe you should just pull over.
Where?
Please. She isn't moving.
Baby's descended. Doing great, man.
After the accident, she told us the baby was dead. Stay.
Madeline, you can't will a baby back to life.
It's Grace. Her name is Grace. The stars in heaven, tucked in the sun, and each little flower knows this day is done.
Madeline, I know that you do not want to take her to the hospital, but there are some tests that can help us understand.
We're not a case study. Please, honey.
That baby is sick.
You don't understand. She's special. She needs special food.
Vivian?
God, Madeline, you look terrible.
Madeline? I'm just feeding the baby.
In the wake of a horrific car accident that kills her husband, Michael, played by Stephen Park, and expectant mother Madeline Matheson, played by Jordan Ladd, discovers that her daughter, Grace, has died in the womb. Ignoring her doctor's warning that the fetus must be removed from her body, a grief-stricken Matheson demands to carry the child to term, even if it endangers her own life to do so. Curiously, little Grace emerges undead, alive, and with the craving for human blood. What? So I've this one's been sitting on my shelf for a long time. I definitely am a big Adam Green fan, and his production company, everything he does, I've just been a fan. Mike mentioned it earlier about Shudder. But Holliston is freaking amazing. It's basically what it's like to live here. It seems like is what it's like to be those two guys. But and this movie's directed by Paul Soleil, and he's just a friend of Adams. He's in some of Adams' videos too. Jack Chop guy. I don't know if you've seen that video, but that's him.
Oh yeah,
the super Boston-y guy. Anyway, oh man, I assume Erica likes this movie. I'm just kidding. But
she's really split. It's new, but it also has dead children. So where does she fall on this?
I know.
I'm interested to hear.
I agree. I am too.
But it didn't stay dead, so that's the problem.
Well,
Yeah.
it's undead. Maybe, yeah. So it's a tough. I mean, I liked. Surprise, newsflash. I liked this movie a lot, but I don't know. It's tough. It's heavy. It's
heavy.
uncomfortable. I watched this with Tina and.
Oh man, really?
So it was, yeah, and yeah, there were the subject matter is tough. So I definitely not. I suppose you'd put a trigger warning out for that just because it's tough, but I really liked it. I was happy to see. I thought Jordan Ladd did a great job. I forgot all about her. I mean, Cabin Fever is great, and Club Dread, and Death Proof, wasn't she in that too? But
yeah.
But she doesn't really. But I don't remember her. I just only think of her about Cabin Fever. So I was like, cool to see her doing a role later. And I thought she did a good job, and I liked it. I don't know, it's good. I liked it. What'd you guys think?
I like it. Now, I have seen this before, but it's been a while, probably back around maybe when it came out, or maybe a year or two after. What kind of struck me this time watching it is that there's definitely some moments that production-wise doesn't hold up, because obviously this is a lower budget film, and but I think to me there's just moments I feel like the budget kind of shows.
Oh,
yeah, like there's some really bad ADR right at the beginning of the movie for some reason that just kind of stood out to me like a sore thumb. And of course, you have a movie that doesn't have a crap ton of locations, so you're obviously saving money that way. I mean, I think like for the most part, when it was a fake baby, it wasn't too bad, when it's obviously an effect and not a real baby, but I don't know. And then the mother-in-law, oh my God, she was a piece of work.
Not a fan of that lady.
No.
I would have a hard time saying I liked the movie, just because it is such a downer.
Not a fun.
And it puts you in a mind space, I guess. I mean, I'm no fan of children at all, so that doesn't necessarily bother me, but I know that it's a heavy topic for people, who have gone through this kind of stuff, and obviously not having a zombie baby, but I don't know, man. Like when all the flies, that sort of was really gross and disturbing, and just the whole color palette of the movie is just dreary. There's never a bright spot in this movie. There's just never. I don't know. I just need even if it's dark humor, a little laugh here and there, man. Like there's just no hope in this. It's sad the whole time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. And I've really grown to I don't want to say dislike, but that flat pale color palette I'm kind of done with. I guess I'll put it that way. Maybe, I don't know. Well, I mean, if you know me, I just like a lot of bright colors. So,
but it fits.
Oh yeah, it fits.
It
doesn't.
Fit.
Yeah, and yeah, absolutely, it does fit.
I think between this movie and Teeth, they should show both these movies on a fucking loop to promote abstinence for in like high schools and shit. Like I would be wow. Yeah, very, very, very different movie. I mean, I finally caught myself. I'm like thinking like, who's more sick? Is it Jordan Ladd's character or is it the postpartum by proxy Judge Judy mother-in-law? She was they're both like really, really sick in the head to me. It's yeah, like it's a nasty fucking movie, dude. It's like I'm with Tad on this one. It's such a downer. Yeah, totally not worth it. Like
I would expect that Erica to be like, this comedy is great.
No. Well, I mean, I'm just like, yeah, it's as if like the nail in the coffin for like me having kids wasn't already there. You just pretty much, tied a chain around it and then dropped it into the fucking ocean. So, yeah.
Erica.
I don't hate the movie. I'm just not the audience for it. Because it's interesting though, because essentially what they're doing with I don't remember her name, Jordan Ladd's character and the mother-in-law is showing two extremes of postpartum depression. The mother-in-law is fixated on still being able to breastfeed at like 60 years old. And I know. And Jordan Ladd's character is, unwilling to give birth, to have her baby removed, or she wants to bring it to term or whatever. So I give it points for at least being something original. But my problem with it is that I like the idea of pregnancy and having children and all of that just doesn't appeal to me. So I don't sympathize with either of them. I just think that they're I think the women in this are, I can't relate. And so that's why it's not for me. But I read some reviews on Letterboxd, and I'm, basing it based on like usernames and profile pictures and stuff like that. But a lot of like the women reviews that I read of this were like, oh my God, this hits so hard and blah, blah, blah. And I get that. For me, I'm not the audience.
This. Yeah, for sure.
I also like my issue outside of it's not for me is that it was really repetitive, because when you have a limited budget, when you're limited in your locations and where you're shooting, if you're going to do the woman trapped by herself going crazy movie and slowly deteriorating, you need to do that well. And a lot of it felt really repetitive and predictable to me.
I wonder if part of the problem is this was originally the director made this as a short film first, and so I feel like maybe this story was better in short form and was probably never meant to be stretched out to a feature. Which at the end of the day, it's still only an hour and 24 minutes. But I feel like because you get that final money shot at the very end, and I kind of feel like I wonder if that money shot is also in the short, because it almost feels like the whole movie structured around getting to that moment. I mean, at least for sick in the head horror fans like myself that love good gore.
Just because I think it's predictable. It's like exactly where it's going. Like at least as a woman, you're like, oh, I know where this is going. Like once the baby starts teething, then it's going to be a problem. Like it's I don't know. I think that makes sense though. Like I can see this like as a short film versus this and like being
heck of a
stretched out.
Heck of a concept.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely something you don't see every day. No. Zombie babies in general. Maybe that should have been one of my questions on
right
on the trivia.
The Dead 2004.
What's that?
Zombie Baby. Dawn of the Dead 2004.
Yep, you got Dawn of the Dead. You got my favorite from Dead Alive, a little Garbage Pail Kid baby. And then this. That's the only three I can think of off the top of my head.
I have a quick question. Erica, you're talking about like some of the Letterboxd reviews. Who is the audience for this?
Right. It's tough, right?
Because, I mean, even if you've been through some of this trauma and you're watching this, I would think it would be even worse. Like, harder and more triggering, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, I don't know who the audience is, because if you are a woman who has experienced postpartum depression, or you have children and you at least haven't gone through that but understand what that could be like, this could be really upsetting and triggering for you. But if not, then I don't know. Honestly, I don't know who the audience is. I know it's not me, but outside of that, I can't pinpoint who would. I'm not saying that like there's no place for movies that make you uncomfortable, because like I generally love movies like that. I certainly do not want to see a birthing tub with like fucking blood coming out and breastfeeding like to the extreme where your nipples are bleeding. Like I just don't want to. I don't want to see that. Like that's like torture porn to me. Like I don't want to watch it. You know, it's like that's worse than me watching The Human Centipede. I don't want to see that.
Wow.
So that's how much I just don't like. That's how much I despise the idea of child rearing in any form for myself. But yeah, I think that's a great question. I have no idea who the audience is for this.
Like who would pop this back in and be like, I mean, what kind of mood do you have to be like, let's watch Grace? I mean,
yeah.
It's just, to me, I saw it once and that was enough for me. I'm good. I'm not saying it's a bad. It's a.
Yeah. Would you recommend it?
No.
Oh.
I mean, it's fine. Like it's well made, and performances are fine. But who do I recommend this to? Who do I? Because I recommend movies to people that I think they would enjoy, and I don't know anyone that would necessarily enjoy this.
Yeah. By the way, congratulations, Jason. You just creeped Erica out. You actually disturbed her.
Yeah, I guess for the horror fans that just gotta go to all the corners, all the dark corners, that gotta try everything,
Well,
I don't know.
I agree with that. What everybody's saying. Yes, this isn't definitely a movie. This is get you in the feels, or in the feel good mood or anything like that. But like, I guess it depends on the type of horror fan that you are. I think is what it boils down to. If you're a horror fan like me that likes bright lights and flashy things and fun gore and some humor, then that's the type of horror that I'm into. But if you are I'm going to equate this to comedy. Like, nothing drives me crazier than when I hear like a critic criticize and talk down about a comedy where they actually said that they laughed at and thought was funny, but it was still a bad movie. But it was funny, but it just was a terrible movie. And no, it wasn't a terrible movie, because guess what? The movie did its fucking job, right? It's
Amen.
a comedy. It's supposed to make you laugh. How is it a dumb movie then? How is it a bad movie when it did its job? And maybe we can equate that in horror, depending on the type of horror fan that you are. If you're a horror fan that wants that other type of emotion, say being disturbed, creeped out, terrified, or whatever, then maybe that's where Grace lands in for you. It goes back to what we were talking about on the bonus episode. Jason has still never seen Martyrs. And it's kind of the same thing. It's a movie that I thought was awesome, but it deeply disturbed me. And it's one that I think since then I've only ever watched it one other time, and that was just to show it off to somebody else. And even that second time, I'm like, I don't want to watch this again. But I can sit there and still say it was a good movie, because it did its fucking job. It got under my skin, which I'm pretty sure was the intent. And so I think maybe that's kind of maybe where it has its place.
I agree. I think everybody has like a certain threshold for certain subject matter. I mean, I could tolerate this one. This one, I mean, it disappointed me, but it didn't really disturb me in a sense. I feel like films like maybe like Martyrs or Irreversible would probably really get underneath my skin. I'm be like, man, I get squeamish around, that kind of subject matter. And I just really don't like it. It's not entertaining to me. Of course, this had entertainment to it, but I guess, and I guess that's always, entertainment is subjective, and, thresholds are different in each way. But I mean, it's a horror movie. It's not supposed to be sunshine and lollipops, it is what it is.
Yeah. So, I mean, Everybody.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how people react to watching it. You know, what they...
Yeah, it would be nice to know. Hit us up on Facebook if you end up watching this movie based on this discussion. And
Hit up
let us know
Jason on Facebook.
And it's his fault. So then I'm assuming, Jason, this is going back into the case and going back on the shelf for another 11 years.
Yeah, probably.
All right. So, Tad, what's our next movie?
Our next movie is the 1963 horror movie Black Sabbath.
Do you believe in ghosts?
This is the night when fear and horror walk hand in hand.
This is Black Sabbath.
Starring the incomparable Boris Karloff, the personable Mark Damon, and lush and lovely women, even though one is from the netherworld, a vampire, a Vurdalak. Black Sabbath, as ancient as superstition, as modern as the telephone.
How nice you look with that towel around you. You always did have a beautiful body. Beautiful. A body to drive someone crazy.
Who are you? Who?
Black Sabbath, the bare truth about the unbelievable, such as the brilliant beauty of a priceless jewel that holds within the body of a buzzing fly a vengeful woman's murderous spirit. Only on the seventh night of the seventh full moon can the living see the lifeless undead.
I am hungry.
Is he man or vampire? An adventure into black magic that goes beyond the boundaries of the supernatural. And a man's devoted love is welcomed by a woman's deadly lust for his blood.
Okay, thanks for the trailer. That was longer than the movie. 1963's Black Sabbath, directed by Mario Bava. It's an anthology movie with Boris Karloff, who's hosting a trio of horror stories concerning a stalked call girl, a vampire-like monster who preys on his family, and a nurse who is haunted by her ring's rightful owner. No, this has nothing to do with Ozzy, but I imagine at some point Andy will do an Ozzy voice when discussing this one. I sort of cheated on this one because it was on my What We Watched a couple of episodes ago. I've been making my way through a Mario Bava box set I bought a long time ago and had never even seen a Mario Bava movie, so it's been a real treat. And I wanted... If I know Mike has seen this, I don't think Jason had seen this, and I guarantee Erica's seen it 12 times. And I don't know about Andy, but I thought if this gets Jason to see this is really fun. I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to make sure everyone got to see it, and I hope our listeners check it out because I think this one's a blast.
Is this where I'm supposed to come in and start talking about the movie? I really like this one because I love it. Has the feel of like the AIP early 60s movies. Lots of the aesthetic of those colored gels that you see lots of purples and pinks and just different blends of color, and I really dig that style.
Have you seen this before?
I had not.
Excellent. Good.
Wow. Cool.
I really, really enjoyed it. I mean, I liked all three of the stories. I'm a sucker for, Karloff, and I like the with the ring lady with, the meth head in the bed. That was really creepy.
Yes.
But I mean, I'm just like, wow, they had amphetamines back then. How about that?
A face only nobody can love.
Yeah. Oh man, that was so creepy. Like that was like Annabelle before Annabelle. The one thing that I thought was really cool, now Mark Damon, the guy in the Boris Karloff story, the traveling stranger who found the knife and whatnot. Interesting thing about him, but nobody knows much. In terms of the horror actor in the '60s. Not a lot of people know much about him, but I think it's cool to point out between the years 1960 and 1963, he was in The House of Usher, The Fall of the House of Usher with Vincent Price, and then like 2 years later, he's working with Boris Karloff, two horror legends within a span of a couple of years, and being directed by Roger Corman and Mario Bava. I think that's pretty fucking cool. Let's see, what was the first story? Because I know the Warlock was like,
It was about the prostitute getting the phone calls from old pimp.
Yes. I'm pretty sure that Kevin Williamson has seen this movie. That's the first thing that came to my mind.
Do you like scary movies?
Exactly. Really, I really like that one. Yeah, there's not much that I could say that I didn't really dislike. I mean, I think that I would say the first two stories are the strongest, but the real strength in the last story, I think, is the dead lady wanting to get her ring back. But yeah, this was I mean, this is the first time I've watched this, but I really, really liked it.
The third one sort of makes me think of like Creepshow. Like I don't know, maybe it's the Father's Day one, but makes me think of that.
So, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I love this movie. I'm a huge Mario Bava fan. I'm a huge Italian horror director fan, and I think Mario Bava is definitely a lot of people have always compared him to Hitchcock, but so I guess I will too. But he is the master of Italian horror, and this movie's great. And Tad jokingly was talking about the band, but there is actually a connection. Black Sabbath at the time in 1968, they were a band called Earth, and they were playing in a small club in England that was across the street from the movie theater that was playing the movie Black Sabbath. And the band noticed that there was more people going to see the movie than there was people to see their show. So they realized that, horror sells. And so they decided to change the name of the band to Black Sabbath. So there you go. There's your history lesson. Now, I watched my own copy of it. I know everyone else kind of watched the same version, but there are different versions of this movie out there. I have the Image release on DVD. That is the original director's Italian version, which was a little difficult watching while doing the dishes because it's in original Italian English with American subtitles. But interesting enough that this was kind of a joint effort between the Italians and AIP Pictures here in the States. And when they released it in the States, AIP changed stuff around. They moved the segments around. They cut some stuff out. I think they even cut out Boris Karloff's introduction in the beginning of the film. And I don't know if your version, the ones you guys watched, was Boris Karloff's voice, but it's just interesting that it totally was not Boris Karloff's voice in the Italian version, which just goes to show, like, the Italians did not record most of the time did not record natural sound, natural dialogue for the film at the time. They did all that stuff in post. So, but yeah, love this movie. And it was cool that we watched this at the same time of watching House That Dripped Blood, two different anthology films from sort of, they're not too far apart in age. Like about 10 years, something like that. And just the England aesthetic and the Italian aesthetic, and how, to me, they're very contrasty, because especially with Bava, because it's like Andrew said, just all the cool gels and colors, but it's more than that. The guy really, I think, I've always felt like, really paints his frame.
Well, a lot of his work was in black and white, his early stuff, and he still has a visual style that's really cool.
As a matter of fact, The Telephone was one of the very, very first like horror movie things that was ever filmed in color in Italy. So, and the stuff Mario had worked on before was all in black and white. So now you're talking an even bigger challenge there of working in a medium that he's never dealt with before and dealing with color. And I think he did a beautiful job painting the frame with color, but not just that, but like the sceneries are all cool, and everything is so meticulous. And he's always done a really cool job, especially in this time period of the 60s and the 70s of really creating a great depth of field in his frame. There's just a lot of cool stuff in the foreground and in the background and blah, blah, blah. I'll say this, and then I'll let somebody else take over. But my favorite is the third segment. I think it's the scariest and creepiest of all of them, because meth head lady is utterly terrifying, and you're convinced at the beginning like this is a dead body, and then when it's like moving on its own, it's freaking terrifying and scary. And another, just to me, that segment is like a perfect representation of Bava's work, because he does amazing things with both visual and sound in that movie. He will make you terrified of a leaky faucet because of that scene. And I'm not even kidding. I mean, there have been times where I've heard a leaky faucet, and it's kind of creepy, and it flashes me back to that freaking lady in the bed. So, so love this movie. Not my favorite Bava. I still might be Black Sunday. I'll have to.
Me too. Yeah.
I'll have to assess that. But
so far, I haven't made my way through, the whole set yet. So
yeah,
that's tough.
It is tough, because I feel like I jump back and forth sometimes on that. But as of right now, I'm saying Black Sunday is my favorite. But Jason, what about you?
I just echo everything you said. I like it. It's okay. It's pretty good. My favorite segment was definitely the crackhead in the bed that scared the holy bejesus out of me. That first time the head's not where it was. Oh, Jesus. Scary. And I didn't realize that Boris Karloff had a lisp. I guess I really noticed that. But that's all I could hear when he was talking. No? Anybody? But
I guess it depends on which version you watched.
Oh, I guess so. It was good. That's good. Fine. What'd you think, Erica?
Oh, I love this movie.
Good.
It's not my favorite Bava. That goes to Black Sunday, but I'm with Mike. Like, the third segment is my favorite. I think it absolutely represents Bava's talent and aesthetic, and actually I watched the Euro version for this rewatch, and the difference in the beginning with Karloff is the AIP or American version is like just a floating head of Karloff with a black background, but in the Euro version it's like a blue background, but you see his full body and then it zooms up close to him and it's got like some purple light on his face.
That's the one I watched.
Okay. So yeah, that's the Euro version has that opening. And then, yeah, the order is different as well. What's interesting to me is like, until I watched the Euro version, I didn't realize how different the telephone segment was between the two versions, because the Americans completely cut out the whole lesbian subtext and plot line out of that. They basically made it seem like, oh, it's just her friend coming over. They cut out quite a bit of that. And so when you watch the European version, you're like, oh, this makes way more sense now. And it's, I know it's off brand for me. Like I should like, the Wurderluck one the most because, child murder, but, and I do love that segment as well. There's a lot of literary, references or sources for that. Like, Bram Stoker's Dracula is definitely one in there. Guy de Maupassant. There's one other French writer. I can't think of his name, but all these different elements. The Maupassant story has, a traveler finding a cabin in the woods and this family has to deal with like a dead body kind of situation. There's another, movie called Night of the Devils by Giorgio Ferroni. That's kind of a similar premise. So if you like that middle segment and you want a full length movie about that, Night of the Devils is good. That's on Amazon. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of, you can see so many, like the more you watch more Bava films, the more you start to see a lot of things carrying over from movie to movie, like the phone in this movie, the red phone with the black receiver, it's the same as the phone in Blood and Black Lace at the end. And even you've got two dead bodies on the floor and the phone off the hook, just the exact same way in the movie. The headboard in the telephone segment as well, like that was used in a couple different movies. I think, I can't think of them offhand. I know I've seen them. I've seen that like headboard and something else, but I could just gush on and on. I'm gonna have to cut myself off because I won't shut up about this movie. So,
no, that's all right. That's all right. Anybody else have anything else they want to?
Well, oddly enough, I was just thinking like Mark Damon almost had like the same role in this segment as he did in The House of Usher. He's coming into a house and he falls in love with the daughter of a very fucked up family, and then and shit just goes awry. And I was thinking, wow, there's a lot of similarities in both of these characters that he played within a span of maybe about a year and a half.
Yeah. You know what's sad is that Karloff, like he was like severely arthritic at this point in his life, and he wasn't feeling really well in general. He actually caught pneumonia. So the versions that you guys watched at the very end, it like the camera pulls away and it shows Karloff on a fake horse in like the set, right?
Okay. Yeah.
No?
With the guy's like, making that mechanical horse go and whatnot.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the camera actually like pulls away to show like, oh, this whole thing was just an illusion. Like I'm not actually riding a horse through the forest. And
yeah. Yep. Got a bunch of fake hands with twigs running around the camera. That's
hilarious. Exactly. So that whole scene, those scenes of him riding on that horse with the wind blowing in his face, he actually caught pneumonia and got really ill after this. And I'm not saying like this movie killed him, but
why am I laughing?
But yeah, that was sad.
Well, all right. Well, let's move on to our last movie. Andy, you want to tell us what we watched?
Our last movie that we watched is from 1978, and it is called The Toolbox Murders.
This man is about to commit the most atrocious crimes in American history. Linda Githens, age 22.
Valerie Hoffman, age 24. Mary Ann Stevens, age 21. These women have one thing in common. They are all victims of the Toolbox Murders.
What the hell are you doing?
Toolbox Murders. On July 23rd, 1977, a hooded killer terrorized a small suburb of Los Angeles, California. His identity was unknown, but he committed a series of crimes so fiendish that it shocked the entire country. He struck with no warning. He preyed on innocent young women. In his hands, simple tools became the instruments of death.
Do anything you say, please. Write it down. Listen to me, please.
His victims died screaming, but for the one still alive, the worst was yet to come. The Toolbox Murders, a true story. When you stop screaming, you'll start talking about it.
Okay, I mean, I don't think I really need to do a description here because it was already said for me. But basically, we have a ski masked killer that's going through an apartment complex and just killing people. But there is a very lengthy credit sequence where he's driving along, and then there's a pause, and that will be that is actually part of the twist that comes later. The killing starts off like really, good coming out of the gate. I mean, it's to me, it's like, it's oddly disturbing when like really mellow music is playing when all this mayhem is going on. The woman that gets killed, this old drunk lady named Mrs. Andrews, really drops a hint like right in the beginning when she says, I called you on Monday and you showed up Tuesday. And some of the kills are just really, really brutal and raw. At least I thought they were. I mean, between the drill in the arm and, just drilling that woman up and whatnot. But the one that I really, really liked, thought was pretty gruesome was the claw part of the hammer to the back of this girl's head that I really, really thought was gnarly. I mean, the character of Deborah, she comes home and she takes off her Punky Brewster jacket because that's what it looked like to me. And of course she goes into the shower, and we had a great, gag where, she left something hanging in the shower and you automatically think he's in there and it's not. And he kills her with, the claw hammer at the foot of the stairs. I don't know why he drug her out there and then drug her back in, which is, I don't know, beyond me. I thought that was a little weird. But her roommate comes in, and then at least she puts up the fight. But here's where I think it gets really, really interesting, where art imitates life, because when the detectives come to investigate the scene where these two girls are dead on the first night, there's a bunch of pornography on the table, and it's got blood on it, right? And since I watch a lot of true crime and I know boobies when I see them, there was a Playboy February. Now hear me out, dude. Just take the trip with me here. There's a Playboy magazine from 1977 on there, and the playmate is Star Stowe. And here's where it gets weird. That playmate was actually murdered.
Oh.
Right? Now hear me out. She was
You had me at
Playboy
boobies.
playmate, and yeah, Playboy playmate, February 1977, and you know what? And she was there, and you know everything was going well, and she started dating members of the band named Kiss. Everybody knows Kiss, but here's the thing: she started dating every member of the band Kiss. You know, and on my research, you know, Hef had Playboy Records, right? And it was starting to, you know, dip, you know, in sales, you know, because in distributing rights and signings, and he needed to get rid of it. So he's calling up Casablanca Records, and Neil Bogart, you know, he owns, you know, Casablanca Records, and he's working with Kiss, and he tells Hef that this Star Stowe is causing dissension in the group Kiss, and they were on the verge of breaking up. And the band is not listening to Neil saying, look, you need to kick this girl to the curb, right? You know, but none of them want to back down, big egos and such. So in order for Neil Bogart to take over the signing and distribution rights to Playboy Records so he could, you know, get rid of his, you know, his record company and sell it to Neil, Neil said, you have to get this girl away from my biggest breadwinners, right? So Hugh had to take Star out of the situation. So he had Star's stuff taken out of her Playboy funded apartment, her company car taken away, and all her credit cards canceled. He basically abandoned her so he could get rid of his record company and get him away from Kiss. So eventually, having nowhere else to turn, she turned to porn, prostitution, stripping, drugs, and alcoholism. And she also, but here's the kicker, she also had a diary of all the lurid stuff that happened at the mansion. In, you know, and this is just a rumor. Supposedly, John Belushi coked up and having sex with a transvestite. Just saying. So she calls and asks Hef for help in the publishing of the book. 1 week later, she's strangled to death behind a grocery store somewhere in Arkansas. I think it's Arkansas. And turns out her murderer and her diary have never been found. Dead from strangulation 3 days after turning 41 and a week after calling Hugh Hefner. Now, I'm not making accusations, but when there's smoke, there's fire. Just kind of funny. I mean, I'm not saying that the set decorator was fucking Nostradamus or anything, but it's kind of weird how this art sort of foreshadowed life in the future. So, anyway, that's my little eerie coincidence in this film.
That was heavy, man.
Are you being an ass? Or are you just? Are you?
It's
no,
Tad.
you are. You're a Tad. He's a fucking asshole. Anyway, yeah, lots of good stuff with like the nail gun and all that other stuff. Yeah, just a straight up slasher fic that came out 5 months before Halloween ever did. Has a really strange twist that I didn't see coming. And upon further research, it turns out this is actually one of Stephen King's favorite horror movies. What did you guys think?
Wow.
I was waiting for Robert Stack to come in and say, maybe you can help us solve this mystery.
You've been watching too much Unsolved Mysteries.
I was just listening to Andy go on about this conspiracy, so, you know. But her diary and her murderer were never found.
It wasn't.
I think we have a new impersonator on the show.
That's really bad. I bet Andy can do a way better Robert Stack.
Yeah.
I bet he could. Give him time.
I enjoyed it for what it was. I mean, I feel sort of shitty to be like, Grace was too much for me, but I really like Toolbox Murders.
Right.
But I don't know, man, like the 70s grimy sort of, gory, visceral stuff like this, this is my wheelhouse more so than bloody nipples and
right
babies with flies coming out of their nose. So
if
Yeah, I'm with you. This is definitely a classic, great slasher. I think one that stands out amongst the crowd of the era. It's just I hadn't seen it in a while. I haven't seen it in a while, and I always remember it being pretty sleazy, and it it still kind of holds up to that. But that's okay. What I was dumbfounded by was just how long it takes before we get to the story of the movie. It is nothing. First, 20-30 minutes of the movie is just nothing but this guy going from door to door killing women.
mayhem.
yeah, I was like, did I miss
Kinda fucking awesome.
something? Yeah, I was like, did I miss something? Did I miss a motive yet? No. Okay, cool.
And if you are not convinced enough of my love for this movie, I have 2 words for you: Cameron Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done.
IMDb has the plot keywords as female nudity, female frontal nudity, murder of a nude woman, naked dead woman, and bare breasts.
Wow. I'm a little confused as to why the redheaded chick was actually trying to take a bath in fruit punch before she even got murdered. Have you noticed how red that water was before anything even happened?
It was the 70s, man.
It was her birthing tub from the
There you go.
midwife.
It's another unsolved mystery.
Yeah, it was Grace.
I just what the part that the girl I was confused on was the girl before her that felt the need to take her clothes off just to go to the closet, put another set of clothes back on, just to take those out.
Don't question.
It's been a while since you lived
Mike.
with a woman, huh?
Yeah, that's how we
laundry just to
operate,
go
Mike.
there.
That's the norm.
But really, is it also normal?
Let's not question these things at all. Just let them happen, Mike.
Okay.
I for a movie called Toolbox Murders, I was hoping for a little more Tim Allen and some grunting, but I enjoyed it.
I'd rather see Tim Allen killed.
Yeah, but can you imagine a Tim Taylor slasher? That would be awesome. He'd keep screwing up because his Binford tools wouldn't hold up.
The Santa Claus Part 4.
I'll be honest. I had a hard time with this one, and you mentioned it and why. It's like I was just checked out by the time there was any reason to care, because there's no story to it, and it didn't like sleaze for sleaze. I don't care. Sorry, and it's just random killing, and it just did nothing. That didn't hold my attention at all. So I was way checked out by the time it got to any story points that I just didn't care. And
Lori dressed like Little Bo Peep, tied to that, headboard.
Well, that's when the story started happening. Once the girl got kidnapped, it was like, oh, there is more to this than just kill after kill after kill. But
I've seen the remake of this with Sherry Moon Zombie.
And
is that any good?
I actually like it. Of course,
it was fine.
It's been a while since I've seen it, and that was in the heyday of loving
Hooper
anything.
One?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I liked it. I mean, it's definitely different because it has more of a supernatural thing going on. But
I did dig
hard time.
I did really dig the ending though. I just thought the ending was really kind of cool. Just her walking, through this parking lot, just covered in blood, just with the scissors swinging her. Because she just had enough of this shit.
I kind of feel like that ending was kind of going for a little bit of a Texas Chainsaw Massacre ending. Just
I love this piece. Sorry?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say I love this piece of trash. This is exactly my aesthetic, but it's not, it's uneven. It front loads all the kills and then it turns into a different movie halfway through. So I can see why Jason checked out, but that doesn't change how I feel about it. Obviously I think it would be better if it were a little bit more well constructed plot wise, but it's just so fucked up and sleazy. I love it. Like it's just trash, and I love it.
Same here, but I kind of feel like its bad structure kind of makes me love it even more because it's so bizarre in that regard.
Yeah.
So.
And Cameron Mitchell.
And then Cameron Mitchell. You can never go wrong with Cameron Mitchell, especially when he's playing a psycho like in this. Oh, it's glorious.
Yes.
And when you are in your bra and panties and dancing in front of your window, I'm like, oh yeah, you are a target. You are a major target. You don't even have to be a horror movie fan.
Wasn't there in the beginning like just one big long kind of like tracking shot from window to window? Am I remembering that?
Maybe.
And that moment reminded me of the opening scene in Blowout a little bit. Just like, why are we getting this long artistic tracking shot in a movie like this?
You have no business here.
Exactly. Like, whoa. Calm down with your art there, director. This is boobs and blood.
This is, it's kind of like a really sleazy, how do I put it? It's like a 42nd Street Rear Window, if that makes sense. The way he's like peeking into all the rooms. It's like if Jack Hill, wrote Rear Window.
I had forgotten about the brother getting killed, getting set on fire. So that was a whole new shocking moment there for me.
Yeah, right.
Because by the time it gets to that point, you mentioned made for TV movies earlier. It kind of, by the time we get past all the gore and TNA, then it kind of feels like it diverts into almost like a made for TV 70s movie there for a little while. And then so when he just, gets set on fire, I'm like, holy shit, they went there. So it kind of caught me off guard.
The Toolbox Murders.
Toolbox Murders. Cool. Well, we found a movie Jason doesn't like.
It happens. It's fine. The kills are cool, sure. It's fine.
I wanted that Redhead's Towers Records parking poster though. That was pretty sweet.
Oh yeah. That was cool. And kind of out of nowhere, like
right?
Who has that?
I'm just glad Andy finally got to see it.
Yeah. For sure. And I'm glad we all got to see movies in our collection that have been just sitting there. And so with that said, that concludes the films for this episode. But don't worry, calm down. Wait. There's still more Attack of the Killer podcast to come. We're going to take a quick break so you can hear all about our very own podcast network called the Prescribed Films Podcast Network. And also so I can go poop. But the PFPN has so many great shows on the network, so check them all out. The website, thepfpn.com. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal: providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.
All right, we got some awesome segments coming up, starting off with shoutouts.
It's time for shoutouts! 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 Shoutouts!
That's right. It's time for everybody's favorite segment, shoutouts. We just asked.
I didn't say that.
You, the people, to name a movie that's sitting on your shelf that you've never seen before that's still wrapped up. And we got some interesting. This is what's cool about this show is like you really get some far out there answers.
I'm kind of excited for this one.
Up first on the group page of our Facebook, the group edition, we got Peter Parker himself. Not Spider-Man. He says, just one? That's right. We all have a problem. We like to buy them. We don't always get to them. We just watch Neon Maniacs one more time.
Yeah, Neon Maniacs.
And he says, I have a lot of those. A recent one would be Island of Dead.
I'm trying to remember which one that is.
Yep.
I'm trying to remember which one that is. I don't know if it's not.
There's an Island of the Dead.
Move on.
Right. Okay, moving on. Up next, we got a recent contest winner.
Woo!
Nick Leadham, because he signed up for the mailing list. He's a cool kid.
Yay, Nick!
He says, The Deadly Spawn. I was a fan of Metamorphosis, the Alien Factor, as a kid, which started out as a sequel to The Deadly Spawn. I figured these two would make a great double feature, but I haven't done that yet.
Nick.
And I was like, dude, it's so good.
Turn this off right now and do yourself a favor and watch one of the greatest alien movies of all time.
And he did. He said he just watched them. He said he just watched those two, and he said The Deadly Spawn is great.
Yes.
Love that movie. Yeah. Up next, we got Chris Anderson says The Witch.
Cool.
Do it, Chris. It's so good.
You will not regret it.
That's one of my top movies.
Do it.
We got Don and Ellie. Oh, you're going to like this one, Mike.
Okay, I'm sitting down.
Don says, Just Before Dawn.
Yes.
He says, not that it's technically wrapped in plastic. I remove it the second I get my disc to my room and on the shelf for storage. I get that, Mike.
I do it when I get to the car.
He does. He really does. But close enough as I never got around to watching it and still have never seen it. Don, you got to watch it.
It's good. It's another one of the 80s standout slasher films, probably for its oddball twist, plus a great cameo by George Kennedy. But it's so good. And I think it was the DVD was Media Blasters back in the day, and I loved that company so much. So I don't know if did he say it was DVD or Blu-ray?
No.
So I don't know what version you got, but yeah, you definitely got to check it out. It's good. It's directed by the same guy who directed Squirms. Just saying.
Squirms. Let us know, Don, what you thought. Next, we got Ildred Walls. That person said The Megalodon.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know that one.
I haven't seen it either, but okay.
The Meg. That's pretty good. But The Megalodon, I don't know that one.
It's the sequel.
And then we got our old pal, Mike Reeb, the Reebster. He says, oh boy, get ready, Tad and Andy and Mike.
Oh, I think I can see it from here.
Mandy and Color Out of Space.
Wow.
Oh,
so really?
Yeah, he needs to get on those.
He says,
looks like I have a guest for my podcast.
There you go.
Oh,
that's
sweet.
Perfect. He says, I guess I'm just waiting for that perfect Nick Cage double feature night.
Well, I think being on Tad's show would be make it the perfect scenario to watch.
Which one do you watch first, though? I mean,
yeah,
good question.
Yeah, that stumped everyone there. That was good. Chronological. Well, so we didn't have any comments on Twitter, which is at AOTKP. We didn't have anything over on Instagram because this is a weird one to answer. It's not just your favorite movies. People have to get up and walk to their movie shelves. I get that. It's
not only that, but so many people just don't even do physical media anymore.
If they listen to the show, I bet they do. Physical media.
Yeah,
I hope so. Keep it alive, people.
But guys, guess what? Guess what? We got a voicemail.
No way.
That's true. We do. I don't have it for us to play live, but I will fill it in. But anyway, let's listen to it now.
Hey, gang. Attacker Brian here. See, you're doing another Unwrapped episode. Why have 42 Arrow video Blu-rays wrapped? I'll give you my top 3 in order I'm going to watch next. First, we have A Bay of Blood. Then I think I'll throw on Videodome. And last, I'll finish with Necromantic 2. I hope this message finds you all well, and take care. Thanks. Bye.
Thank you, Brian Godsill, for your awesome.
Brian.
I know. Wasn't that great? And you too can be awesome like Brian and give us a call at our voicemail and leave us a comment. You can call us at 415-952-6857. Shorten it. The cool version is 415-95-AOTKP. So give us a call and we'll get your voice on the show. And that's shout outs. But wait, oh my gosh.
What?
Oh, Mike, we got a celebrity guest. The streak continues. Listen up.
This is Yuri Boyka for Attack of Killer Podcast. I am the most complete fighter in the world. You come to me, you want to hear horror story. Okay, I tell you. Warden comes to me, tell me want to fight American champion. They take me to All Valley Tournament in Reseda, California. They say this Daniel LaRusso is unbeatable. I come into ring. He makes joke about where is Boris and Natasha. Fucking smart ass. As you can guess, I kicked the fucking shit out of him. Small little Asian man come in the ring, want to protect student. I bite his fucking lips off. Needless to say, I'm back in Russia. Got another 132 years put on my sentence. Well. At least, here's Insane Mike's picks. Fucking 132 years. Fuck Daniel LaRusso. Bullshit.
Well, thank you for that intro. And oddly enough, the movie is just like every Rocky movie rolled into one. I'm talking about 1963's The Sadist. The Sadist, also known as Sweet Baby Charlie, is a story about three people driving into Los Angeles for a Dodgers game when they suddenly have car trouble. They pull off into a junkyard and they are held captive at gunpoint by a bloodthirsty psycho who apparently learned how to speak by watching cartoons, and his crazy girlfriend, and the psycho's amazing hairdo. The movie is also a great how-to in car mechanics, as the psycho, Charlie Tibbs, played by Arch Hall Jr., wants their car and won't let them go until they fix it. It's directed by James Landis, no relation. Stars Arch Hall Jr. as Charles Tibbs, Richard Alden as Ed Stiles, Marilyn Manning as Judy, Don Russell as Carl, and Helen Hovey as Doris. Charlie and Judy were the movie itself is inspired by the real life serial killers of Charles Starkweather and Carol Fugate. So, they're really, really manic and crazy in the movie. And Arch Hall Jr.'s performance is, it's awesome. His weird vocal things that he's doing with his weird laugh and his whatever accent that's supposed to be, his broken English or whatever, it kind of changes throughout the movie. It doesn't ever stay consistent, but hey man, what can you expect from Arch Hall Jr.? It's the best thing he's ever done. It is amazing. So again, it's based on like the whole Starkweather and Fugate thing. Although the character of Judy, she acts very, very young in the movie. Like Fugate did, because Fugate was only 14 years old. But in the movie here of The Sadist, on the radio, they say that Judy is 18 years old. I'm assuming to kind of appease the censors and, not be all pedo-y. Archibald Jr. and Marilyn Manning also played young lovers in another film previously in the year before in the classic movie Ega, which is probably one of the best Mystery Science Theater 3000 episodes of all flipping time. Don Russell, the actor who played Carl in the movie, he would do second unit on another one of James Landis's movies known as The Nasty Rabbit. And he would also work a lot with Ray Dennis Steckler on such films as Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies, Thrill Killer, and Wild Guitar, which Wild Guitar also starred Archibald Jr. Archibald Jr., the movie is pretty low budget. So much so to save money on blanks, they actually would fire real rounds with the guns.
Jesus.
Yeah, Archibald Jr. claimed to be a master marksman and convinced the director to let him just go ahead and shoot live rounds in the film, where he is literally pointing the gun at people and shooting over their heads. And I'm sorry, with a haircut like Archibald Jr., I don't know if I would trust him with anything, let alone a loaded freaking gun. But it is a great movie. It's on Tubi, so you can watch it for free. And it's a pretty good transfer too. It was a really, really nice transfer. But it's such a great movie. It's such a great 60s movie and a great early 60s movie especially. So it kind of has a little more 50s aesthetic to it as well. But and I've said it before in this episode, I'm just a big fan of simplistic stories, simplistic settings, and minimal casts, and this movie has all of it. And if you can do a minimal cast and still be utterly captivated by the madness that is Archibald Jr. in this movie, then you're good to go. So I would highly recommend checking it out. 1963, The Sadist.
Ooh, awesome.
It is awesome. Anyway, that's the show, folks. That's it. Want to thank Erica again for being on.
Erica.
Thanks again for being here.
Yeah, tell us again where all this stuff's at.
So you can follow the first podcast, Customers Also Watched, on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube at Customers Also Watched, or Twitter at CAW Podcast. The new podcast, though, Unsung Horrors, that's Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Unsung Horrors. And that, again, is where all of the details about the Horror Gives Back Challenge are going to be posted.
Yay.
Awesome.
Follow along.
Yeah.
Yes.
And donate.
And again, it's a lot of fun having you on the show. So thanks for being on again.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. So everybody out there, I hope this inspires you to open your DVDs and Blu-rays. If Toy Story 2 taught me anything, toys were meant to be played with. And so movies are meant to be watched. Except for Clowntergeist. So long, everybody. Talk to you again soon on the next episode of Attack of the Killer Podcast.
Oh no, could this be the end of? Wow. Attack of the Killer Podcast. 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 It's the end of the show. Bye. See you next time.
Hey, you did it. Woo! That's awesome. You made it to the end of the episode.
Look at you.
Thanks for listening,
You've
guys.
come such a long way.
This was a real fun ride. This one was especially good, Mike.
I know.
I mean, I felt like I was on point, and my form was excellent.
You do have a nice form.
Hey, thanks. Head over to jointheattackers.com, and you can figure out how you can help support this show and get access to so much cool extra content. Check it out, guys. Jointheattackers.com.
Do it.